Welcome to Sacred Wandering with Keira Brinton. My friend, this is a corner of the world where time stops, where the noise in our minds quiet, where we have soft hearts and we open our palms and we ask. This is a place where we receive. I invite you to join me as we wander through the sacred together. Welcome to Sacred Wandering. Good morning, my love. Welcome into our beautiful prayer corner today. I'm going to invite you to take a nice deep breath in, and we're going to breathe it all the way down. Let's do that again. And down. And today, I invite you to breathe in joy, breathe in love, breathe in gratitude. As you breathe out, I invite you to let that settle into your body. The joy, the love, the gratitude. We're going to do that again. And out. Today feels like a really holy day, a special day, a day where miracles are going to happen. So I'd love for you to go into your heart and ask, what is a miracle that I want today? What is one miracle that I want today? And then we're going to place it on the altar, and we're going to ask for that miracle to be blessed while we do our prayers today. We're going to ask for the powers of heaven to anoint this desire, that it may be fruited with faith and with the promise of new. All right. So while that's marinating, I'm going to begin by reading you a message I received in my prayer corner. These are the words that I received. This is all for you. Delight in it all, my love. Feel this profound sense of love, security, support, and joy. It is in our moments of joy that God will always multiply. Be joy, and joy will increase 100-fold. Surrender the shame, and joy will expand. Let's take a nice deep breath in. I'm remembering, as I see the date, it was the day after I had moved into my new home, the home that we had moved into within 3 days, that when I had a seizure just 3 weeks earlier caused me to make this move. And while the seizure was wildly stressful and overwhelming and scary, I would have never moved. The idea of moving a whole house, all 4 of my children that are still at home, my whole office, like, why would we ever move? That is so much work. And that seizure was a holy disruption that made me move my environment. And this message came to me the day after we had moved into this beautiful new home. Oh, it's so beautiful. And it overlooks the mountains and it overlooks the sunrise. Everything my soul delighteth in. But that wouldn't have happened without the holy disruption of the seizure. And there was some sort of shame that was tying around from the seizure. And so this message came in where God was like, oh, my love, I made this for you. Clear out the shame. Instead, feel the joy. And the more you feel joy, the more I can multiply it. Because remember, it is how we sit with God. God will always multiply and magnify. And that is why in our prayer corner here, before we ask for our blessings, we begin to ask that our cells may match the frequency of a miracle, so that as we sit with God and we ask for a blessing, the frequencies that we are wanting to be multiplied will be multiplied. And that's also why we hand God over our burdens and struggles before any of this. There's a very distinct purpose in how we do these prayers. We give God the burden, the things we don't want multiplied: lack, fear, doubt, worry, trauma. We don't want those multiplied. So we're going to put them into God first and ask God to transfigure them for us. Then ask that our cells may match the frequency of miracles. Then in that frequency, we sit at the foot of God and ask for a blessing. And in that act, all that we want becomes multiplied. And that is what we do here every single morning. Every single morning we do this. And I want you to understand the depths of why we do it and the reasons why I have been taught that, like this, God is a God of multiplication. God is a God of magnification. May we sit with the God in the way we want to be multiplied. And I think that this is never taught. And so often we sit with God in our suffering, which is okay. But we're not utilizing the law of magnification in the way we could be using it. All right. So today, as we go into prayer, I want you to think of something in your life that is blocking your ability to receive. Maybe it's suffering, there's trauma, there's pain, there's heartache, there's fear. Fear is the number one blocker to miracles. So whatever is there, I'm going to invite you to pick it up. And I want you to put it into God. And we're going to ask that God may transfigure and transform it into the miracles that you seek. But I need you to feel that it's no longer in your body. We just put it into God. And so now, without this big old chunk of suffering running in a loop throughout the body, we're going to actually ask that God may touch our cells so that our cells may remember divinity, so our cells may remember what love is. I want you to take a nice breath in. I want you to feel into this, the cellular memory of love. Now that we're here, we're going to ask that God will place his hands on our head to give us a blessing, that we may receive the words that we need to hear today. And I'm going to be quiet while you pray. Take a nice deep breath in. allowing whatever words you receive to land inside of your body. And now I want you to open the palm of your hand and ask God, God, please give me my number one most important action I need to do today. And you're going to listen. And the first thing that comes to you, you're going to write it down. And this becomes your commandment. This is your commandment with God. Why? Because God is speaking directly to you. No one is giving you this commandment. It is you and God. And then you're going to invite your angels to help you take this action today. For when we are inspired and we take action, we become the receptacle for truth. When we are inspired and we take action, we become the vessel that allows miracles to be brought to the earth. It is this. This is the recipe of all the wonder. Inspired action equals miracles. So today, my love, I invite you to be a walking miracle. I invite you to breathe it, to see it, to be it. And with that, I thank you for wandering into the sacred with me. And I will see you tomorrow morning in our prayer corner. Thank you, my love, for wandering into the sacred with me today. It is always an honor to hold this space for thousands of us to gather daily in sacred devotion. If you feel called to deepen this practice and join me live, I invite you to be a part of the Sacred Wandering Circle, a private, intimate space where we share our daily blessings in a Facebook group and gather once a month for a live 1-hour session. We come together to bless the body, to pray, and to receive. There is so much power when we unite with others who hold the sacred sacred. If your heart is nudging you, you can find the link in the show notes. And remember, you don't need anyone to help you hear God. You are the conduit. God speaks directly to you. And your prayer corner, it lives within you always.